Sensimilia is running through my veins. Welcome back to Happy Pet, Happy Family Podcast. My name is Virginia. I'm your host today. All right, and today I have to tell you something. I have to tell you a joke. Okay, are you ready? What do a tick and the Eiffel Tower have in common? They're both Paris sites. That is so funny. That's so cute. It's not really that funny, but it's cute and it's hilarious to me because it's stupid and cheesy. Anyway, welcome back to my podcast. Tonight I want to talk about something. I wasn't sure what to talk about, but I was sitting here streaming on Twitch tonight talking about how exhausted I was and blah, 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 blah. And then I came to this one subject that I actually experienced an interesting case today. I guess it wasn't that interesting, but it just caught my eye. You know what I mean? Because I guess it hit home for me. So basically what I want to talk about is tumors. Benign tumors, cancerous tumors, skin tags, fatty tumors, whatever you name it. I'm going to talk about it right now. So today, the client that we saw it was a big, overweight chocolate lab. And he had this like little tumor of some kind, some mass. It was about the size of maybe like one of those little bouncy balls you get from the 25-cent thing. And I guess the doctor would say it's like a nickel size. It was, no, not even that. Not even that. What was it? Like a penny-sized little button tumor type thing. And the owner had previously, well, first of all, she told us that this was only the second time this dog had ever been to the vet. And what beautiful chocolate lab should weigh is about maybe 65, 70 if they're big. And this dog weighed 98 pounds. So the care of this dog has been like maybe babied a little too much. I wouldn't say like neglected or abused or anything like that. But when you make your pet overweight, you may be thinking selfishly. You may be just uneducated about their food. Anyway, I digress. So this pet had like a little tumor on its back leg. And previously she went to one other vet and got a quote saying like $700 to take it off, which seemed a lot because this was like a little tumor. And honestly, like it didn't look cancerous and, just didn't look like a threat. But, she was worried about it. It just popped up on Sunday. It's Friday right now. And like, it hadn't grown, but she was just worried. This is her baby. You could tell she was very worried. Like at one point she started crying. I'll get to that. And so I get the history, everything, go get the doctor. We come in and he says the same thing. He says, it doesn't look cancerous. It honestly almost looks like a skin tag. It is a suspicious shape, but and it's suspicious that it popped up so fast. But other than that, it looked pretty harmless. Now, we can't say for sure because we're not sitting there biopsying it, testing it, whatever. So it's basically like we're telling you your best guess because the only way to tell you for sure what it is to either take a biopsy, which most of the time would just anger or upset the mass, or take it off and send it off. But then it's off. So, but the fact that, of course the doctor has 25, however many years of experience. And, she said herself, like, well, you guys are the ones that see it all the time, so I trust y'all. And I, at the end of the appointment, ended up telling her about my dog and her button tumor. She has this little tumor on her back leg. I think almost the same leg. Yeah. No. Yes. Yes, it's the same leg. It was the same leg. I'm so sorry. My gosh, my brain is just moving too slow. But anyway, so it's on the same leg, but my dog's is bigger. Her little button tumor is bigger. It's maybe like, I would say a nickel size now. When it first popped up maybe 2 years ago, it was only like a little skin tag, and like over the last couple years it's just slowly grown. And it's never moved, never changed. It's a very weird texture and squishiness. I do end up messing with it because I'm crazy, but and she never seems to mind. She's so sweet. She's sleeping over there right now. But anyway, and so we ended up giving her an estimate. It was only like about $400 to take it off for us. And that just depends on the clinic and how they price their things and what medications they use, what drugs they use, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So every clinic's different. It's good to shop around. It's good to do your research. It's good to look at reviews, all of those things. So she really did the right thing by looking around and being smart with her money, especially in these times. And I can tell you by experience that I've been to a lot of clinics, and the one that I'm at right now is one of the most professional and full of people that love and care about animals and are very intelligent, and they're just wonderful. I love working with them. Anyway, I digress again. Don't take this as medical advice. I am literally just a vet tech. I only have CVA's certification. That's it. So go to your vet if you're worried about a tumor. But I will tell you that it's pretty common, and, you know, don't like Google it, because Google always tells you it's cancer. Even when you're just coughing, you know. Please don't become Google doctors. I will link some great links for education down below. Anyway, so another tumor that we can bring up is another common non-threatening tumor, which is, or mass, is called a lipoma. A lipoma is just a fatty tumor. It's something that grows on your dog. Usually, well, a lot of times it's when they're overweight or older, and no one knows why they pop up. No one knows, you know, what causes it. But it's literally just like a little collection of fat that popped up. I'm trying to think if Sensi has any. I don't think she does. I keep her pretty fit, though. A lot of times it's overweight dogs that get these lipomas. But if it feels like a boob or like an artificial boob, it's probably just a lipoma. Again, go get it checked with your doctor. Anyway, so if you keep your dog fit, you're less likely to get them. The only time they do become threatening is if they are in a dangerous placement of the animal's body. Like say it was in a small dog's like armpit, and it grew to be the size of a basketball. You know what I mean? Like that would impair their ability to walk and live life. And sometimes they do grow out of nowhere for no reason, and it happens. But most of the time, again, it's overweight dogs. So next, so if you do see a lipoma pop up and it starts growing rapidly, or any tumor, go see your doctor. But the reason why it becomes dangerous is if it's in a dangerous spot. Say you got a tumor like behind the hip next to the butt, you know, what if that keeps them from pooping? You know, it's just obvious things that make the dog disabled or unable to live life normally. The next tumor we can talk about that I know of. Now, I'm not a doctor, but this is just the most common things that I see in the clinic. Skin tags, those are pretty obvious. These tumors that sometimes pop up on dogs' eyes, they look like little styes. Those are little pimples, but sometimes they can be little like cysts that are just in a perfect position that they're rubbing on the eye. That can cause blindness, that can cause ulcers, that can cause a lot of problems. So that's something I would definitely take off. Although it may not be cancerous, it's definitely harmful to the dog or cat. The reason why I say dog most of the time is because when cats get tumors, it is almost always cancer, and it almost always needs to be taken off. And it's also very rare. Like, I think maybe I've seen only like a handful of cats over my 10 years of experience that had tumors. And all of them have been cancerous. There's not been one tumor that's not cancerous on a cat that I have personally seen. I know it's out there. It's possible. Anything is possible in this world, but that's why you're going to hear me talk about dogs mostly. Let me think. The next tumor, or maybe what you think might be a tumor. Yeah, let's talk about that with cats. If a cat has a tumor, immediately go to the vet as soon as you see it. Like, as soon as you possibly can. Because it's one of two things, and both of them need attention from the vet. Number one, it's cancer, like I said. And maybe it's not, on the very off chance, but just go get it checked out. Or number two, it's an abscess. And I'll talk about that another day, but that's just a reality that you need to be aware of with cats. If they get to a fight, if they hurt themselves, like, anything can cause an abscess on a cat. And you'll know it because it swells up and then it bursts and then it drains. And the cat gets really, really lethargic, doesn't want to eat anything, and their temperature goes way up, like 105, 107, whatever. So that's something to look out for. That can also happen in dogs. It's just like a little more obvious that it's something like an abscess. You know what I mean? Because cats are sneaky. They'll just hide, and you'll never know that they have this huge problem that needs attention. Okay, so the next tumor I want to talk about, that I commonly see, is mammary tumors. So, it's exactly what you think. It's breast cancer. And whenever dogs get mammary tumors, or cats, because cats, this is one of the common ones that cats get, it's because the hormones that they have, because they aren't spayed, have like gone into overdrive and turned it into cancer. So, I'm not sure why almost every animal gets breast cancer if they're not spayed. They either get breast cancer or they get pyometra, which is an infection of the uterus, which is like life-threatening. But if you don't spay them, they get into trouble. Or they get pregnant, which is also not always wanted. But anyway, I digress. You're going to hear me say that a lot because I get off topic. But I love talking about this, so it's okay. But anyway, mammary tumors, you'll see them right where the breasts are. They'll look kind of like bruises, but they're hard, like rock-like bruises. Those are mammary tumors. And it's maybe not the end of the world if you catch it quick enough. If you don't do anything, it is cancer. It is, it'll spread. First place it always spreads is the lungs, I swear. And if you catch it early, as long as you cut it out and spay the animal, then boom, cancer-free. No problem. Most likely. Of course, you can't promise that unless you do like MRIs and things, which there are places that do all of that. There are specialties. What am I thinking of? Not specialties. Well, yeah, my doctor calls it the specialist. So there are specialists that will completely like give your animal chemo, like everything. But for a regular clinic, we can cut it off and hope for the best. But hey, it has really worked for a lot of animals, so you can't knock it. I mean, you can, but I wouldn't. Okay, let's think. Another tumor. There's something called, I think it's called an epulous tumor. Don't quote me on that, but it's cancer of the mouth. And what happens, like, I can't remember. I think there's like two different kinds. One is just an epulous, I guess. It's just like extra gum. You can cut it back, but it'll just grow back. It's just going to be there. And then there's like cancer of the mouth, which just it grows fast. It's vicious. It bleeds. There's literally nothing you can do short of taking their whole mouth out. Again, you could go to a specialist and get chemo treatment and all of that, but there's no promises. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's cancer and it's also a dog. How much money are you willing to put into your dog? That answer is different for every single person in the world. Owners feel about their dogs very differently than everyone in the world feels about their dog very differently. So that's one thing that in this job you absolutely have to be is neutral with everything, because otherwise you're going to get angry, or you're going to get hurt, or you're going to feel it way too much. So you just have to really be neutral and try to have some empathy and realize where people are in life. Anyway, I digress. Let me think. Any other tumors I can think of? Something you may think is a tumor. My dog has one. It's going away, I think, just because I've bettered her life and her environment and everything. She's a very happy dog nowadays. But she used to have this thing called a lick granuloma. And what a lick granuloma is it's a sore on usually a dog's paw. Sometimes it's on their legs, sometimes it's wherever they can get to. And it's a nervous habit. It's a place that they have decided they're going to lick, 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 lick. And it raises up like a scar. And a lot of times it looks like a tumor. And in my last video, I think I talked about her back legs whenever she went through a rough, stressful time were just like all like that. And it was horrible. But anyway, sometimes that can look like a tumor. I'm looking at my dog, trying to think of other tumors. Okay, let's talk about the not fun tumors, the absolutely horrible, devastating, life-ending tumors. Just like humans, dogs can get cancer anywhere, everywhere, anytime. And so, the most interesting, if you're thinking medically, the most interesting tumor, in my opinion, is like a brain tumor, because there are a couple things that can happen. And we had a case today that could be a brain tumor, but probably not, because the dog's acting very normal. But a brain tumor can show up as paralysis and nothing else. It can show up as aggression. Like out of nowhere, your dog just becomes horribly aggressive. Probably a brain tumor. It can show up as like vitiligo, Jesus. It can show up as vestibular, like when they lose their equilibrium, like they're drunk walking. It can show up as that. It can show up with just the dog becoming almost just gone mentally, like after somebody had a stroke, they're just like they had a lobotomy, just gone. All these things can be a sign of a brain tumor. Tumor in the nose. I've seen a tumor in the nose of a dog, and the only thing that they noticed was the dog bled a little bit, and that he was stopped up on that side. And then I saw a cat. Oh my gosh, this cat had a tumor in its nose. They thought it was just something stuck, so they flushed it, and then they found out it was a tumor. And oh my gosh, they loved that cat until the cat couldn't live its life anymore, and that thing grew and bent the bone up. Like, it was crazy. It was crazy to see. A lot of times they'll get cancer in one of their organs, and it's usually like sometime after 7 years old. Now, it can happen when they're young. That's usually bad breeding, but usually happens in the older age. And so, the symptoms that you'll find with cancer. I'll tell you the trick, because I had a dog. I had my most favorite wonderful dog. You'll find pictures on all of my sites of this dog. His name was Sparky. Oh my gosh, I haven't said his name in a long time. And I got him as a puppy when I was 19, when I first became a tech. And he has been through my whole life with me until about 9 months ago. He passed away from stomach cancer. Ooh, that sucks to say, because it sucked to go through, and I miss him so much. Oh my gosh, I'm going to cry. Anyway, he was only 10, maybe going on 11. His age was always guessed. Although looking back, I think it was pretty accurate. And the first thing I noticed, he always had stomach problems. Like here and there. He had a sensitive stomach. He had anxiety, so he would lick the carpet and then he would have stomach problems. So like when he stopped eating, I didn't think that much of it. I was like, oh, he just doesn't feel good. Like he'll eat tomorrow, whatever. And then the second thing I noticed was, if you see their head, right, there's like muscle around their skull, kind of just encasing their head together. And that muscle had atrophied over like a day. And that I came home and I saw that and my heart like dropped to my stomach. I stopped everything I was doing and I took a bunch of pictures of him from a bunch of different angles. I looked at past pictures. I wanted to see if maybe I was just seeing things. Maybe I was just worried about something because I work in the job. Sometimes I work with things and I'm like, does my dog have it? But this time I saw it. So if you see your dog's head muscles, I'm talking about like on top of their head, in front of their ears, above their eyebrows. They have like one arch of bone in the middle of their skull. And that muscle right there, if it atrophies, which means deteriorates, go in immediately because 9.99999% of the time it's cancer. And it breaks my heart because that day I already knew. With the amount of experience I have and the amount of like things I've seen, and I've worked with so many amazing doctors that like educated me and explained to me what things were and talked to me about the treatment and what to look for and all that kind of things, all that kind of stuff. You know that I already knew. But because we are who we are as human beings, I had to try. Because you never know. You know, there could be different reasons, but I just kind of knew. Anyway, I digress again. Take him in, do blood work, and it kind of confirms it for me. But my doctor has a huge heart and didn't really want to like just tell me it was cancer. I knew it was, he knew it was, but he wanted to try everything because that's what he would do for his own dog. So we did, but the blood work showed high white cell count. Unfortunately, unless the cancer is in a specific organ that shows up on blood work, it only shows up as high white blood cell count. Maybe the other blood cells are messed up, but mostly high white blood cell count because the body's trying to fight the cancer off. That's what it showed. Okay. So we threw all of the medication at him that we could for stomach issues in that first week. I gave him our version of puppy Pepto-Bismol. It just has like neokelpopatate, mescopolamine, and sugar, and anyway. And then we gave him metronidazole. We gave him antibiotics, gave him steroids, and then, nothing happened. Nothing changed. He just got more tired, and he never ate. I changed out the food. I tried canned food. I tried people food. He would not eat anything. He threw up for the first couple days, had some diarrhea, and then just nothing. And I think that's what killed me. After the first week of throwing all these meds at him and it not working, I brought him in for some fluids and more blood work. And nothing had changed, and he was just getting sicker. Oh man, this episode turned around. It's okay, I'll end it good, okay. So, I knew, and so I spent a lot of time with him, and I loved him, and I couldn't watch him not eat anymore. I thought to myself that for him to feel so bad to just not eat for over a week, and he's not dead, I couldn't stand to watch it anymore. And so I made the appointment. I made sure I was off. I made sure someone was there to drive me home because this was my baby. He was my baby. I had him as a puppy. He protected me from robbers. He protected me from men. He protected me from myself. He protected my children. He said he laid by them sleep while they slept all of their life until he couldn't anymore. And when he couldn't anymore, he found his favorite spot, looking out the window, and waited for me to be ready. Oh, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I do what I do. Because animals deserve the best. Animals deserve all of our love and all of our care and everything we can do for them. Because they just improve our lives. I really appreciate you listening to me. I'm so sorry I got emotional. I really appreciate you listening to all of my jargon and
the way you talk to me is ridiculous.
Have a good night.
If you want something, you just have to tell me. You can be nice about it though. You can be a good boy. What? Okay.